Hey everyone, welcome to the PEX News channel. Today we're going to talk about the protests erupting in Los Angeles over immigration raids. Protests continue in downtown Los Angeles, driven by outrage over recent immigration raids. While many demonstrators are peacefully voicing opposition to federal immigration enforcement, scenes of vandalism and clashes with police have at times overshadowed the movement's message. Police intervened last night to disperse crowds and made multiple arrests. Some demonstrators were seen throwing objects, including what appeared to be fireworks, at officers. In response, the Justice Department has begun prosecuting individuals involved in violent acts. President Trump has deployed 4,000 National Guard troops and around 700 Marines to protect federal personnel and property. Many protesters have condemned the violence, emphasizing that their goal is to stand up against what they describe as harsh and inhumane immigration policies. "You see families being torn apart. It should break anyone's heart," one protester said. "We're here to say we don't support this. I'm more afraid of what our country is becoming than of them." The protests have now expanded beyond California, with demonstrations reported in Dallas, Atlanta, Louisville, and New York. Activists say it's time to take a firm stand against what they view as the Trump administration's heavy-handed immigration enforcement. On the ground in LA, CNN's Stephanie Elam reported from downtown Los Angeles, where cleanup efforts are underway following last night's destruction. "This Apple store behind me was broken into and looted," she said. "You can see crews replacing shattered glass, mopping floors, and trying to restore order." Elam noted a stark contrast between daytime and nighttime activity. During the day, protests have remained largely peaceful and focused. At night, however, different groups appear to be using the demonstrations as cover for destruction. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass addressed this dynamic directly. "To those who vandalize our city, don't claim to support immigrant rights," she said. "You can't destroy our neighborhoods and say you're standing for justice. You'll be held accountable and separated from those genuinely fighting for our immigrant communities." LAPD officials echoed this view, pointing out that the most serious incidents occur after dark. Elam added that while graffiti and property damage have been widespread in a small area, the destruction remains contained to a few blocks in downtown LA, leaving most of the city unaffected. Legal pushback from California has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, arguing that the deployment of National Guard troops is unconstitutional. The state is also seeking to block future military mobilizations. State Attorney General Rob Bonta responded to President Trump's recent comments suggesting the protests are fueled by paid agitators. "These are not paid protesters. They are Americans exercising their First Amendment rights," Bonta said. "Most are peaceful. Of course, some individuals exploit the moment for criminal activity, and they should be prosecuted, but the overwhelming majority are citizens demanding justice." When asked whether the lawsuit can move fast enough to impact the current situation, Bonta said the state is pursuing a temporary restraining order and expects swift judicial action. He argued that the president has overstepped his legal authority and failed to meet the conditions required for deploying the military domestically. "This is not a rebellion, nor is there an inability to execute U.S. laws," Bonta said. "The president must consult with Governor Newsom and issue the order through him. That hasn't happened. Under current law, this deployment is unlawful. Legal and constitutional concerns." While some legal experts say the president has leeway in matters of national security, critics argue that using the military in civilian law enforcement violates the Posse Comitatus Act. The California National Guard operates under the governor's command, and without specific statutory conditions, which Bonta argues have not been met, the president cannot unilaterally deploy troops in this way. "This isn't about whether immigration enforcement should happen," Bonta emphasized. "It's about how it's done, and deploying the military in this context is unconstitutional. That's why we've taken this to court. We've sued this administration 25 times in 20 weeks, and we've largely prevailed."